So here's the video about how I do yarn overs. We'll start with yarn overs between knit stitches. So here's a knit stitch and a yarn over. And what I do is I hold the needle a little bit away, wrap the yarn up and over. It's the same motion as when I'm making the stitch, but without putting the right needle through the next stitch first. So it's up and over. If I'm going to make a stitch, it's up and over. And if I'm not going to make a stitch, it's up and over. Do some more. Knit, yarn over, knit, yarn over. Now if we're going to do purls, bring the yarn around to the front. And you'll see that after the yarn over, the yarn's coming from up and over the needle, but it's coming from underneath really. So from here, we can do another knit, we can do a purl. So here's a purl stitch and a yarn over following like that. Insert the needle, yarn goes up and around, or don't insert the needle, yarn goes up and around, but it's the same movement to make the stitch or to make the yarn over. Now let's mix it up and do some yarn overs between knits and purls. So to go from a purl, now if you were going to knit from here, you'd have to bring the yarn to the back. So it doesn't matter if you yarn over first, then bring the yarn to the back, or if you bring the yarn to the back and yarn over. Either way, it's the same motion. You're bringing that yarn up over the right needle, then doing a knit stitch. And to go from a knit stitch to a purl stitch, you have to bring the yarn to the front, right? So to make a knit, you'd be here. To make a purl, you'd be here. It doesn't matter if you do the yarn over back here and then bring it front, or if you bring the yarn and needle to the front and do the yarn over motion. It's that same motion either way. So yarn over to a knit, and a yarn over to a purl. Purl, yarn over, knit, knit, yarn over, purl. And because I knit continental, it seems to me that the yarn is always, because I've wrapped it up and over, it's always coming from underneath the needle, but the working yarn is always going to be behind because of that up and over. So in order to purl, I have to bring the yarn and the needle to the front. In order to knit, I have to bring the yarn and the needle to the back. But it's the same motion every time, up and over to make a knit, up and over to make a yarn over, up and over to make a purl, up and over to make a yarn over. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments or by messaging me. I'll be happy to help. Happy knitting!